school fees is not being paid by parents any longer. It's on hold. So this time around, the parents are only paying for like a stipend, a monthly team, just to support the teachers, to support myself, in this line. What I've actually do is the handwork I've learned in the past, making hair, doing foot mats. I've tried to do those things to augment my income.
Well, the Marybeth, the experience of Stella, what do you have to say?
Anyway, I am not a teacher in the classroom right now, but I understand completely where Stella is coming from, and I feel that teachers are like one of the most hit in this in this whole situation, because you're dealing with not being paid, one, and then you're dealing with having to put so much into preparing these lessons, and then try to deal with network, and then deliver this lesson. It's a lot going on for the teachers, and then you have situations or schools where parents are arguing about paying and all of that. So you actually are putting so much, and then you're getting this feedback of people not really appreciating it and not thinking you need to be paid for it. So I think teachers have been like really
hard
hit the most. Yes. And some of these teachers, mind you, have children also. And then some of them, because a lot of times when we think teachers, we think women. Some teachers are actually men, breadwinners of their homes.
I get it.
Do you understand?
And many of them are even in some private schools where the salary is very, very low, maybe below.
Yes, because
the
they're actually private schools that do not fall in that cadre of the posh schools. Do you know? Do you understand? So with all of that and all the drag between parents and the schools and parents, so the teachers, I would be. If I was in the classroom right now, I would be heartbroken.
Actually, when I went to her place, I saw her weaving making the mat, and I was like, Stella, is this what you're doing? And she just says that that is. He said that's it. That she has to learn this. She showed me the wool and everything. She had to learn this to start making this. She had to start learning to make hair. And I'm trying to. In fact, she's even telling me that she's planning on opening a fish pond, because she don't know how long all this will take. It's possible. She talked about the rent being due anytime soon. And this is someone who is just a spinster. She's just there in her own, not just like you say, a family. So I don't know. It's this is just an experience of one teacher. And who knows? There are many more with even worse cases than this. We have some messages already coming in. Someone from Kaduna says the schools is reopened. Another one said my children's school are now asking for a huge amount of 40,000 naira to write their examinations. Okay. Wow. Staying at home has been a problem because of data. Someone says online lessons at very best cannot achieve half of what contact lessons can achieve in terms of effectiveness. This is from Suleiman Maska from Funtua. Okay, this person said, I love your program, Cecil. Thank you very much. Our problem in Suka is phone and other online gadgets. I just wish the government can provide this for us. Okay, we have many more of your messages coming in. Please keep them coming in. The program is still the Medley Show. We'll take a break, and when we come back, our discourse will continue. Well. So the program, if you're just joining us, you're still on for the rest part of the program. The program is the Medley Show, and we are talking the lockdown, online education in Nigeria, and the many issues around it. I was already reading some messages. This person says the Nigerian government should endeavor to encourage online education in all strata of education, as it is with the Open University. And this one says, I have 5 children and I spend 6,000 naira daily. May I please write where you're writing from and your name, and make your messages as short as possible. How do we go about those without learning mediums? Hi, Hello, good day. My name is Chima from Aguda. Schools should open because learning from online is not good for me. If church will open, why not schools? All right. Okay, I'll take these other ones later. Please keep your messages coming in. I still have Marybeth Chima with me in the studio. All right, so let's move on to talk about the WAEC reopening. WAEC is examination. The students have just been asked to return to school to write their examination on the 17th of August. So so how did you take that when you heard it?
I didn't even hear it for a long time, Just a few days ago, it came up and it was an argument, as it is these days. Everything is an argument, So I have my reservations, I have my reservations like, okay, it's okay that these children go back to school. I mean, if that's, children need to learn. But what do we have on ground and how effective is it? How effective is it going to be? Is it going to be business as usual? I mean, we know how we can be sometimes. We can have all these policy and guidelines that have been, that the government has given. But is it going to be followed through? That's the problem. We need to be truthful to ourselves as individuals because we can't keep shouting government. I mean, if they put these guidelines out, first of all, the government has to be realistic. These guidelines you're putting down right now, are the schools equipped to actually follow through with them?
For the fact that other students are not in school, I believe social distancing should not be so much of a problem.
Yes. Today when I was walking out this morning, I saw a girl. She was actually going to school. So I had to actually sped up to her, like I needed to speak with her. And I'm like, hi, you're back to school? And she's like, yes, SS3. Excited. And I'm like, yeah, she was excited. And I'm like, oh, so how is it going? She actually explained to me when they go in that they wash their hands, when they go in and they have to wash their hands 3 times. At break time, after break, you have to wash your hands again, but that they don't even allow them go out and play. So break time, they don't allow them go out to play, and they're spaced 1 person to a pew. The same, that's one that you have 2 of them, but they have one person and they have one in between. So it's like alternating, do you understand? So that they have that, and you can't buy food from school. You must bring something from home. So that made some sense when she said it to me. And I was like, so are you happy? She was like, Auntie, excited. She was, so the kids are actually tired. Kids need to learn, we know that. And I think everybody knows that too. But the problem is how safe are our kids while learning. And that's what's important.
If this process you've just explained actually continues in order, it's going to be pretty good. But when the other students have to come back to school, it's going to be the challenge. Are they going to alternate the days? Classes, this you come at these days, and this others come at these days. Anyhow, we actually went out. As we went out, and we met some students who are actually preparing for WAEC, and we had this chat with them, and these are our findings.
New normals everywhere and newer innovations, plus better ways of performing old tasks. These are part of our new realities. Having carried out months of online lectures, some privately owned schools are set to conduct or have already concluded tests or examinations. How exactly does this work?
So what we do is that we have about 3 measures we put in place to ensure that the students are not cheating. One, we used what we call form limiter. It's an add-on. It's integrated to Google Form. Google Form is lacking in that regard, such that if you give a student question, you need to be there to ensure that you stop accepting responses at a given time. But with that form limiter, we integrated it such that we program it that this is so question, these 2 exams, they're expected to finish within this so time. So the moment they finish that exam, the Google Form will automatically log them out. So because they are aware that they are working within a time frame, it's practically impossible, or they would see it as a waste of time to be going extra mile to get external help and support.
With the West African Examination Council examinations set to begin on the 17th of August 2020, schools and students are putting finishing touches to ensure a hitch-free process.
So immediately from 9th of April, we started with SS3 to start that online, and it's still on up to today. Then for GS3, I think about a week after that, we started with GS3. And then towards the tail end of April for all the other students.
We had English class, like we had online English classes, but that was the only one we had besides that. So I feel like it's not going to be that easy with other subjects. But when we go back to school, the other teachers will be able to help us like understand things that we missed.
Definitely they will not be as ready as the private schools that are serious with these online classes. And the private schools are actually serious because parents also are paying for the classes. Parents have to pay. If your ward is in a private school, you have to pay for them to participate in the online class. So for the government schools that are not doing these online classes, it will be difficult for the child, no matter how brilliant that child is, because this child is not being guided by a teacher.
While some parents and students are clamoring for the reopening of schools for different reasons, it is expected that flattening the curve should be considered as a foremost priority.
Well, different opinions, different thoughts, and different views. Still talking all the opinions. Many messages are still coming in. Hi, my name is Chima from Aguda. Schools should open because learning from online is not good for me. Okay, I've taken this one before. All right, this one says, I'm Rita from Benin. Our school is yet to reopen. Someone else said, it's a welcome news that exit classes will be writing their examinations. Government should give direct palliatives to private teachers in Nigeria. We have suffered since March till now, no salary. For I have 6 children with my wife. I am Uncle Benson Akachuku from Enugu. Wow, we have so many of these cases. Now, let's x-ray. If actually, Mary, if actually the government is going to reopen schools, like I was trying to say before we take the future, how would you suggest this is managed? Because, of course, with the WAEC now, we understand that, yeah, it's going to be space, the sitting arrangement. They have so many classes free now. But when the others have to come, I was of the opinion, like someone said in one interview I went for, that they could actually have different days that they come to school. Do you think that can work?
I think for the private schools, that will work well. I mean, we're talking government schools where you have 120 children.
That is the reason why we should have...
I don't know.
That's the way we should have. Okay, I think today they have it in GS classes in one school, SS is in one school now. All right, so Monday, 1 to GS1 will come on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. The other, I don't know.
Cecil, the truth is there's always a way there. If we put our minds to this, and those who should be at the forefront of this, sit down to this, there has to be their ways. That's the truth. We've heard of countries where people with low income, low income, what do you call it, settlements now, where they've had to go to schools to pick packs from schools. They go to school, pick their learning packs and go home. If we have decided, problem is we don't put so much emphasis on
breaking
education.
News, just in case you don't know, many of our teachers are in private schools and in government schools and universities, they don't even computer literate. Yes, so welcome to the online, welcome to investing in your home.
No, but that's what we're saying now. If we are not doing online, then let's do the learning packs. Let them go and take learning packs. We're talking books and what to do and all of that. There has to be a way. We can't stop learning from happening completely because that's the situation here. As I said before, the percentage of children who are doing any form of learning or effective learning is less than 10%. So the majority of our children are not in school, whether we like it or not. And if we keep saying, my children are in school, hey, we're being selfish. There are a lot of kids who are not in school.
I think another solution could be that we could actually contemplate homeschooling. Parents should start learning to get the school syllabus, the curriculum from the school, and try to see if you can do homeschooling for your child if you can.
No, but it's a very big one and it's a very serious one. That's what I was saying. It
Let's
still
talk
comes
about
down to being intentional.
Being
isn't
intentional. All right, so Marybeth is saying we should be intentional parents like she is. So there are many ways, and hopefully when we get back, and she's going to tell us about how to be intentional parents. We still have a look at some private schools in Abuja and their preparedness for reopening. All right, so let's take a break, and when we get back, we'll come up to the last lap of the program.
Okay.
She cries. She cries in anguish and in pain. She bears the scourge of her grief. She toils in vain for justice and succumbs to silence. He gloats over his malady. Like a beast, he pounces with no remorse. Her cry means nothing. Her pain feeds her shame. Like an orphan, she's left to grieve in solitude. But no more will she cry in vain. Her adversaries will henceforth bear the brunt of their cruelty. Rape is evil. Rape is a plague, a pandemic of monumental consequences. We must unite and kick it out of our society.
Connect with NTA and stand against rape and rapists. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Okay, thank you very much for staying with us. This is a medley show. Marybeth, you are going to give us a little tip on intentional parenting. Yeah, seriously, because for the times we are in, these are unusual times, and it requires unusual measures like this. So, intentional parenting in the times we are in, very briefly, can you take us through?
All right, beautiful. So as I was saying before, I mean, the truth is, whether we like it or not, there is a health issue that is here, and we have to face this reality. So yes, we want our children to go back to school because it's not working for us, but we can't shield the fact that there's a health concern, and that should be top on our priority list. So if we're dealing with this, then we need to start looking for other ways. There are people who have been actually homeschooling their children. That's the truth about it. And we have people homeschooling their children in Nigeria, and their children have not gone to school for months, years, many years in some cases. So we need to start looking at things like that. As I said before, being intentional is just creating structures in your home. Create a structure in your home that works with you, your unique family situation. Yeah. So yes, you're a parent that goes to work. So while you're at work, are there things that your children can do while you're at work? If you can afford the online learning, fine. Let them do that part, isn't it? If you cannot afford the online learning, look for platforms where you can get some of these things to reinforce what they've learned in the previous years. You can reinforce that. They can continue so that they can bridge the gap, that slide, that comes with not doing anything at all. You can do that. Now, the time that you're home, what are you doing? It's not just being present. It's what you're doing while you're present. I wrote a book recently, Bedtime Stories for Champions. I use that with my kids. Every evening, we have those bedtime stories where we talk, So that time, it could be 30 minutes, could be 1 hour. Let that time be structured for whatever else you want to teach your children. So structure what you have. Structure your home, basically. Have time for different things. If it's online, they're doing fine. Let them do it at the time that,
And if they can, for parents who may not be so sound to actually meet up with their children, maybe we could get private teachers. It
still comes back to paying, isn't it?
Yeah,
it still comes back to paying. If you cannot get private teachers, do you have any? Do you have any expertise?
Okay, there's something
Can you learn? Do you understand?
Well, I could suggest that maybe students in communities can come together to say, okay, we are in SS1 or SS3 in this community. Let's come together and try to teach ourselves.
Exactly. You can actually reach out to a teacher at this point. What are they supposed to be learning at this time? Get a list of what they're supposed to be learning. If you have some bit of education, do something rather than do nothing. And if you cannot get math, science, and English taught at this point turn to life lessons and begin to teach these life lessons in a structured way, it will all come together eventually. Do something rather than do nothing.
I just hope it's as interesting and as easy as you say it. But really, I always like looking at the big picture, looking at every point of it to be sure that everybody's taken care of. Well, I went into town to look at some preparedness of some private schools to see how prepared they are. So I met this proprietor of a school who actually said she's doing the combined, what do you call it? The blended learning. Now, well, I thought it was really cool. I actually ran into her when she was having the meetings with her staff on blended learning. So I had a chat with her, and it's my finding.
You know, we are transitioning into blended learning. It's a hybrid type of education. I'm not sure that all the children will be coming back into physical structure. So there will be a lot of children that probably will be learning from home. So we're going to, you know, that's why the training occurred, because we're going to be teaching in class and also teaching the children at home at the same time. What we have stationed hand washing stations around the school. When you come in, you must go and wash your hands first, and then once you get into the reception area, you're given a sanitizer. We also have some kind of mist fumigation thing so that it decontaminates you as a person. It's very safe, so it doesn't hurt or harm any child in any way. We will advise parents to stay outside the gate, just hand the children over to us, and then we bring them into so that the contact is quite reduced in the school. When we are told to open, we'll be opening gradually. Maybe a year group comes into school a certain day, then the next day the others are added on and things like that, because we need to be able to work with this situation that we're in right now. What we're also doing here is we have a sick bay. We have a small isolation room for anything that comes up, God forbid. So different things. That's why Lakeland School is introducing the blended learning system, whereby as classes are going on in the physical structure, it's also going on online. So the children can be at home and learning, seeing their teacher teaching the other children in class at the same time. So that's what we are going into.
So Angela Osarunwe says, she's just said it, that some parents may not allow their children come back to school for this learning. So blended learning is actually a good option.
Blended learning is what education should be.
Okay, well, blended learning is what education should be. So we believe that many other schools can take cue from this. Quickly, many children, while on lockdown, apart from the fact that many have been learning online, they actually also learn some other skills. So we actually met some children during the holidays, and we asked them questions on what they have learned other than online learning during the holidays. And during the long 5-month holidays. And of course, this is what they told us.
The gradual ease of lockdown and partial reopening of schools for the exit classes to take their exams underway, we caught up with some children here in Abuja and sought to know what new skill they have been able to learn during the lockdown.
I went to the farm with my granddad, and I learned professional farming. I've been able to learn Android app making and website development. Kind of learned how to be a good engineer. I learned how to be creative and a bit more inquisitive, kind of. I improved my cooking skills.
To cope with the prolonged stay at home, there was the introduction of e-learning to keep pupils up to date with their curriculum. We inquired of these children what's their preference, online classes or the physical.
I really prefer physical classes, but when I do online classes, it's like I have no one to distract me. At the same time, I have someone to distract me.
Physical classes, because it's more interactive, you get to see your teachers and have more fun.
I prefer the online class because I don't like people distracting me when I'm reading or doing anything. Physical class, because it's more interactive and you get to see everybody and the teacher.
The youngsters seem to be learning and having fun at home. But with return back to schools on the way, what are their expectations?
I prefer to go back to school. Why? It's better and it's more fun.
I don't want to join because of coronavirus. I don't really want to die. I really miss my friends, but I can see that I can go to their house, but still, I want to do online classes.
I would love to go back to school, but it will be hard for me to cope, so I think both answers. I would love to go back to school, I would love to stay home. I will have to cope with social distancing, not shaking my friends. So I think I'll choose staying at home for now. Yes, I want to stay at home.
With the coronavirus sit-at-home order, it is expected that many children like these ones will embrace new and beneficial skills and hobbies while staying safe with family.
It's interesting feedback from the children. Good to know that they have learned some skills while sitting at home. Other than, of course, I believe that they would have been having online lessons too. All right, so just before I take a last word, I'll just take a few, 2-3 messages, and then we'll have a last word before we go. My name is Tony Pio. Why does the government school still ask for school fees from students? It's not fair. He's writing from Abuja. Someone else from Delta, or nurse from Delta, say, we all must key into online education. It's the best way to go. James from Benue says, online having good impact on our children, but it costs. It improves learning and the system, but the cost is too much. Debayo from Oyo says, I have 6 children and I spend 6,000 naira on data. So many of you say you love the program and the topic we're talking about. So we want to thank you very much for your messages. We always know there's a complete picture when we communicate with you and when you get feedback from you. Last word from you, Madam Intentional Parenting. Parents.
All right. Truth is, we can't take the need for physical interaction in our education. We can never take that away. However, the reality right now is that this is upon us. So this is the time as parents where we must step in and bridge that gap. We must become more intentional and become the local government of our children's education. Absolutely. So online is great, but we must do our part to create that physical touch that they're missing from school.
Oh, Marybeth Chima, thank you very much. You're an educator, intentional parenting, and so many others to your credit. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
From me, I also want to thank you for being there, for being part of this program. For your messages, please do keep them coming. And as you go out, if you have to go to school, please be as safe as possible. We care, NTA care, and I care. My name is Cecil and Marybeth. Bye-bye.